Hi, I'm with Anand Daté, who is running for mayor of Whitchurch-Stouffville. Anand, welcome to Bullet Point News.
Thank you, Queenie. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So, Anand, what are the qualities that would make you a successful mayor?
Yeah, so I think that I've been in the community for a long time, since 1975, and I've operated my own business for closing in on 30 years. But what would be probably the biggest quality that would make me a good mayor is that my heart and soul is in the community, and I've trained for this for many years. So I've been the chair, vice chair, co-chair, treasurer, board member, or trustee of many of the different community groups that report into either the municipal level or the provincial level. So I learned a lot about policies, procedures, and things like that, which is important for a mayor. But more so, I've been listening to the community and trying to help out in the areas that the community has told me that they need help. I think that is the most important quality of a mayor or any elected official.
If you were elected mayor, how would you be accessible and transparent to your constituents?
I've always been accessible and transparent. That is no secret. I think that sometimes it's difficult because the pressures of the work sometimes take people away. It's difficult to get back to emails or answer the phone, but that's a function of organization. So I have managed multiple businesses. I have multiple very large customers, and I seem to have been able to strike a good balance between execution, responsiveness, and thoroughness for the past 20 or 30 years. I don't anticipate that's going to be an issue. And I also wanted to point out that it is a council that addresses the needs of the community. So we have 6 ward councillors, and they would be responsible for more localized municipal issues. And my job as mayor would be to support those councillors. So if there's an issue with garbage pickup or some bylaw infraction, there was a level prior to getting to the mayor's office that can handle that in a very expedient way. So I think that I would be supportive of all the ward councillors and their work. Where I'm going to be spending my time is more at the regional level and beyond to look at big picture and big action items.
What issues concern you the most and why, and what are you going to do about them?
Yeah, so my concerns are a function of our citizens' concerns. So generally, our citizens are telling us that diversification, especially of our tax base, is important. So we're highly residential. We don't have sufficient amount of commercial and industrial businesses. So our tax burden falls almost entirely on our residents. So that is an issue that comes up over and over again. We've struggled in the last 8 years. So we've been in the news for all the wrong reasons as a council and a representative ruling body. So I plan to bring some just regular business efficiency, ethics, and problem solving to the role of mayor and council. And generally, there's a number of issues that I think fall in the category of health, safety, and prosperity. So, issues in terms of being able to be transportation, safety, diversity and inclusion, safety for our children, safety for our seniors. So I think that is a separate category as well, which I plan to focus a lot of attention on.
What initiatives do you think require more funding?
Main Street reconstruction of our downtown core is critical. We've been putting off this initiative for 20 years. Although current council is suggesting that, we only have put it off for a few years, it's been ongoing. Again, I've been in this town since 1975, so I do have a long history and memory. We started Main Street reconstruction in 2017. We stopped it after phase one. We had a golden opportunity to complete it in the middle of COVID when businesses were already shut down and suffering. Now that they've finally survived through what I'm hoping is the worst, we're considering shutting them down again. If we're going to do it, we have to do it quickly and we have to do it right. One time, it's going to need to last for 50 to 100 years. We need funding for that. We also need funding for broadband and high-speed internet access, especially to our rural areas. I see this as an essential service. So for emergency services, it is really important to have that internet connection up. We also have a problem with our hydro grid. So this would require a lot of funding assistance from the region, from the province, and beyond to the federal government. And I intend to go and get that.
How would you improve transportation in Stouffville?
Very difficult question. We have made so many wrong steps that are very difficult to change. So, um, our when we expanded a residential area, we had an opportunity to have bypass routes that could take large loads of traffic out of the downtown core. We didn't do it properly. We are close to the 407. We're close to the relatively close to the 401. We're close to the 404. It's just getting to those major 400 series highways is very difficult. We also have a very poor transportation plan, so ridership is very poor on our more regional public transportation lines because the routes are poor. Even for Metrolinx, our GO lines. Um, we can only sort of get down to Union Station, but we can't get across to the airport. We have to exchange several times to go from train, bus to train, and then many stops at Union Station. It is a real problem. So I think we need a more holistic approach. We have to plan for the future. What's done is done, and we're not going to be able to undo it. But we can't keep making these same mistakes by planning very piecemeal. Transportation is a large issue. There are some other solutions. Rideshare programs using some rideshare services have worked in some other municipalities. I have investigated that in 2018. I still think there could be an opportunity there for direct transportation. There's also York Region support with companies like Roots, which is funded by the York Region. I run the food bank in town. I'm one of the board of directors that run the food bank. Our clients do come in direct from their residences to our food bank using Roots, which is a free service. We could look into that as well.
What's your idea of responsible development in Stouffville?
A balance. That's my idea. So in 2014 to 2018, we had some struggles with our mayor and council. It led to no investment into our community. Then in 2018 to present, the pendulum swung completely the other way. At the moment, there is just developers are calling the shots. And what they want is residential, high density, because that maximizes profits. So my solution would be not to curtail profits of developers and new development, but to influence them so that we get the things that we need. I'm all for businesses to make their profits, but a reasonable amount, so long as they supply us with what we need. So we do need a variety of types of housing to look after our seniors, to look after people with marginal levels of income, to look after our children if we want them to be able to live in our community. We have the land. We don't need to run roughshod over the green belt and use a lot of MZOs to have our land put to the best use. But we just need a stronger voice so that we can influence the proper development that we need instead of the developers telling us what they're going to give us.
What would you do for small and medium-sized businesses?
I would focus on them and I would listen to them. The recent council of the mayor specifically is looking for massive amounts of investment from huge organizations. He recently put out a video on, ironically, Facebook to try and attract Elon Musk at Tesla, who looks at Twitter, not Facebook, to try and encourage Tesla to relocate here. But we've had opportunities to attract investment. We've had Kubota that could have come to our office, to our municipality, but we ignored them. We could have had an opportunity to have an educational institution, education, higher learning here. We didn't answer the call. We could have had an opportunity to have more medical facilities here. We didn't answer the call. So we keep missing the opportunities when they do arise. We have to show the world that we are open for business and investment. But my focus is going to be first and foremost on the existing businesses of Whitchurch-Stouffville. That's where I'm going to spend my energy, and I'd like to spend our money to make sure they're healthy. It will include things like proper financial support, proper infrastructure support. Main Street Stouffville is one example. We can't have any expansion on Main Street Stouffville because the water pipes are just too small and too old to put in high efficiency, for example, dishwashing systems. So restaurants don't want to locate in Main Street Stouffville. They just can't operate. The internet connectivity is poor. The parking is poor. These are all things that small and medium-sized businesses are telling us that they need, and we just haven't addressed it. I intend to.
This past year, what accomplishments of yours are you most proud of?
Difficult question. On a personal level, the biggest accomplishment that I have had in the past year is I am a father. So I have now two young sons. One is 4 months old, one is 2.5 years old. I'm 50 years old, so I plan on being in Stouffville for a very long time until my sons can make a decision as to where they want to be and who they want to be. That is my greatest accomplishment by far. But it gives me the opportunity now that my family life is settled to focus on the extracurricular type activities that I do in my spare time. I have been a volunteer for decades. All of the things I've accomplished, and I think my list of position titles is fairly long. I've done it in my spare time. What I'd like to do is be a full time mayor and accomplish even more as my full time job. So my accomplishments that I've managed in the past couple of decades I feel will pale in comparison to the accomplishments that I could achieve as a full-time mayor in Whitchurch-Stouffville.
What federal or provincial political party would you most identify with and why?
I actually considered running as a liberal in the latest provincial election. However, I am a product of the Catholic board system, a private school system, a public school system, all here in Southern Ontario. I did not know anything about the Indigenous residential schools situation. No one taught me this. And I'm ashamed to say that I did not know until I was 48, 49 years old. I have gone on record as saying I will not be part of a party system. I have backed off of that goal so that I could just focus on being a municipal politician. I feel that there is a lot of reconciliation and atonement that needs to happen. It needs to start with the individuals in our political parties to make reparations for what has happened. So until that happens, I will not be part of a party system. I also happen to be an entrepreneur and I own my own businesses. I feel like I can help in a more direct way if I'm not part of a party system. I don't want to be put in a position where I'm compromised. I think I can find another way to achieve my goals and the goals of the community as an independent mayor.
What would you say to undecided voters?
You have two options and two options only. We can continue to go in the direction we've been going over the past 4 years and 8 years. That is represented by two of your options, current Mayor Lovett and past Mayor Altman. Or you can take an opportunity to do better. And really, that's only represented by me, Anand Daté. I've been in the community since 1975. I have a history of stable business efficiency. I have the vision and leadership that is needed in the position. And I'm going to do what is needed for the community, not special interest groups, not developers. And I've said that from the start. So you have two choices. Keep doing what we've been doing. And if you're okay with that, you have options. But if you're looking for something better, there is only one option, respectfully, and I believe that is me.
Great. Is there anything else you would like to say to the audience at Bullet Point News?
I wanted to thank you, Queenie, for taking the time to interview me. For your audience, please do investigate the platforms of the candidates that are your options. Please also do look very closely at your ward councillor candidates. Those are your most direct representatives that will help you with your day-to-day questions and activities and opportunities. And when the time comes, please do come out and vote on October 24th. If you're looking for a change, if you're looking for a chance at something better, please consider voting for Anand Daté.
Thanks so much, Anand.
Thank you, Queenie.